Hi girls, welcome back to Pink Podcast. Today it's me and Big Jip. She's a special guest, even though she's not gonna be probably talking much. Today's episode is gonna be about how overconsumption is really in theory underconsumption. And I know that doesn't really maybe make a lot of sense right now, but it will by the end of the episode. I feel like overconsumption, at the end of the day, it's just obviously like the act of over purchasing things that we don't need or things that we already have, having multiple sets of the same thing. Like, for example, having 5 different Stanley cups, all different colors, having 10 different blushes and 14 different like lip glosses. Even though it gets kind of sold to us as just like girl core and like girlhood and just like having a bunch of stuff that's cute and pretty and like aesthetic, at the end of the day, it really is just like overconsumption. Like, you don't need 14 lip glosses, and overconsuming the things that aren't really important to you at the end of the day does come with the cost of things that you really truly want, whether that's a vacation or a really big purchase like a car or a home, or in theory, just like your dream life. That's the real cost of overconsumption, because we are spending all of our money on unnecessary things, like things that we already have enough of, and we're just like, oh, but there's like a new one and it's so pretty and it's so cute. So I feel like this is obviously something that we all struggle with, and so that's going to be the topic of today's episode. I want to talk about the pros of overconsumption, because I feel like if there weren't any pros, we wouldn't be doing it. So I have to be honest about the pros. I also obviously want to talk about the cons, my own struggles with overconsumption, like the things that I'm struggling to not purchase. And I also obviously want to talk about like the solution to this problem, what we can do to stop overconsumption and really just focus on the things that we really want. And yeah, let's just get straight to it. First things first, let's talk about the pros, because obviously there are pros and it is fun. Overconsumption, shopping, having a lot of things is fun. If it wasn't, we wouldn't all be, dealing with the consequences of it. Okay. There is a dopamine hit to buying something new, to getting an extra candle, to having that new pair of shoes, to having the newest skincare line, to having more lip glosses. There's obviously a huge sense of satisfaction, because 1, who doesn't want new things? 2, obviously we all kind of want to be in with the trends. And there is like a sense of FOMO when you watch people like enjoying the new this or having the latest bags or whatever it is. There is kind of like that sense of, oh, I want to enjoy that too. And I feel like that FOMO obviously plays a huge role in, inspiring us to follow the herd and buy more things. There's also a huge dopamine hit. Like, every time that you buy something, it scratches that little itch that's inside, that womanly itch of gathering. There was like hunters and gatherers back there, and we were the gatherers. And I feel like that instinct still lives within us. We still have that motherly instinct of gathering and making sure we have enough of everything, enough blankets, enough candles. For if there were, I guess, a hurricane, we would need 80 scented candles. Whatever it is, we just have that instinct to overly purchase. And, that little dopamine hit of actually getting a new thing is still true. We all experience it. It is a fabulous feeling, especially when it's something you've been wanting or something really cute at the store that just kind of like jumps out at you and just says, please buy me, please buy me. It does reward you with a dopamine hit. Who doesn't love dopamine? Hello. There's also the pressure of new trends and the seasons, and now bootcut jeans are in, or now ballerina slippers are back, or oh my god, we need this like new leather bag, or oh my god, it's fall season, so we need to get brand new fall decor for the house, or now I'm not into like the decor that I had last year, I want to elevate it and I want it to look like this. All these things are valid. All these things are cultural pressures that are going on around us, of watching new things be in season, and oh my god, I want to get the latest this. And obviously it's normal. Like, who doesn't want to elevate their wardrobe or their house decor, or whatever it is to kind of fit the latest season? Maybe getting a new iPhone, maybe upgrading your laptop, maybe now a new digital camera is like the it girl camera. Whatever it is, there's obviously gonna be the newer and the better and the what's in right now. And that obviously does create a demand in our brain of wanting to have that vibe, to wanting to, oh, I want to participate in that. I want to have the cute nude fall decor with the striped pillows and whatever it is. We all, have that itch. And buying the stuff obviously scratches that itch as well. It does feel good to participate in the latest trends. I feel like, whether or not we want to admit it, and whether or not you're like copying or not copying or like veering off and doing your own version, it doesn't matter. I still feel like there is a sense of like newness, and we all like to kind of reinvent, reapproach the seasons, the trends, whatever, with our newfound aesthetic in that moment. Because I feel like, we all kind of get over whatever last year was. Like, even if it was just like the way you decorated your Christmas tree, you're like, this year I don't want to do the classic red and green. I actually want to go white and blue. Like, this happens all the time, even in little examples. And obviously in the bigger and extreme ways where you're like, I don't want any of this decor. If you could hear my cats in the background having a wrestling match, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I feel like it could go from like a small thing to an extreme, but regardless, it is still that need and like desire to reinvent ourselves. And, scratching it does come with a sense of satisfaction. We can't deny it. And I feel like the last, I guess, pro of this is you are filling that void. I can at least speak from personal experience where there might be a void in your life. Maybe you want, I don't know, to live somewhere new. And well, you can't do that yet. You're still saving up. Maybe you're in a lease, whatever it is. And you're like, okay, so there's like this big problem in your life, but maybe going to Starbucks for the 5th time this week, it's going to kind of help you ignore that bigger issue, at least momentarily. It's going to kind of mask the void. It's going to put a Band-Aid over the wound. And it's just going to make you forget about whatever the bigger issue is. Maybe you're having health issues. Maybe you're having relationship issues. Maybe you're having financial issues. These little purchases, these little overconsumption acts, they're a little treat. And any little treat makes us feel good. And, the little treats, even though they do work in short term, they also harm you in long term. But hey, we're just discussing the pros. And that is another pro. It does help with an open wound, and we can't ignore that. Now, obviously, we all understand overconsumption is fun. Having a lot or the newest item or, maybe just going out to eat every day can be fun, But we also have to face the truth, which there are a lot of cons to this problem. So let's just jump straight into them, even though we kind of don't want to. First of all, it's bad for your pockets. Duh. That's obviously the main offense of overconsumption. It's not really a healthy financial habit. It's not something that's going to help you with your long-term goals. It's not something that's going to help you save. There's not really any long-term benefit to overconsumption. It's really just all short-term. It's kind of like eating dessert for breakfast. It's delicious, and who doesn't want a sweet treat? But it is going to ruin your health, and you're probably going to gain a bunch of weight and be unhealthy and then, be at the hospital. So even though it might not be that extreme, overconsumption is going to hurt your pockets in the long run. And this means maybe you're going to be in debt. Maybe you're already in debt and you're just making it worse. Maybe you don't go into debt, but maybe you don't have the financial freedom that you always dreamed of, or the ability to purchase things that you really truly need, or maybe invest into your long-term goals like a house or a different car for your family, or maybe like your retirement plan, or maybe you have a company and you need to invest into that, or yourself or your health, whatever it is. There are obviously bigger and better ways to invest your money. And when we're overconsuming, we're spending our money on things that, don't have a return on investment. There's no ROI, no return on investment, which means, it's kind of like buying a pair of designer heels instead of like a block of gold. The block of gold is probably going to be worth more in value later down the line. And the new pair of designer heels, you're going to walk in them and then they're going to depreciate. And now it's not a good investment. Obviously, this is just a random example, but you kind of get where I'm getting at. Having Starbucks every day is delicious and it makes you happy and it might make your day a little brighter. But at the end of the year, maybe that was a $2,000 Starbucks run And you could have probably just went on vacation with that $2,000, but instead you had a little bit of joy every day instead of a lot of joy for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. Now, next, we have it's obviously bad for the planet. And even if you're not super in love with the planet and you don't care, which, I am judging you, it's still, worth noting. We can't just have 80 fall pillows every time the season comes around and discard the last ones that we had, and a new mug for every occasion, and 2,500 fuzzy socks or custom pajamas for every little thing, like, oh, my Christmas pajamas, and you're gonna get new ones every year. Like, all these things at the end of the day are gonna end up in a landfill, especially because if you're buying them every season, you're probably not buying the best quality items because, if you're buying everything new, you're probably not like super into investing into like the best item. You're probably just trying to get the newer trend thing, and those things don't really last. So at the end of the day, they're going to break early. They're going to be out of season next year, or like out of style, and they're just going to end up in the dump, which is exactly where your money's going to end up. So it's bad for the planet. And obviously, we need to love our planet and be nice to her. So stop doing it. The next point is kind of what I was just touching on. None of these items are going to be quality items because usually the seasonal things, they just get made for the season, as opposed to, let's say, a really nice classic leather bag that you maybe take some time and some months to research, and you really want a really nice everyday work bag, and you really think about it, you really find the best bang for your buck, and you invest into a piece that's going to last you years and years and years to come. That's different than kind of buying, oh, like this bag just came out and it's so cute for the season and it's like perfect fall colors. And then, by next year, there's a different one of those. And because that one was just kind of mass produced, it's not going to last you very long. And it's just really a bad investment. It's not worth your money, your time, your effort, your work. It's not worth it because it's just made cheap. It's bad. It's not really made with the best materials or quality. It's just kind of meant to be in and out. And is that really what you want to be investing your money into? Something that's trash? No. This is also a never-ending cycle. Okay, you're going to buy something new. It's going to make you happy. The feeling's going to fade, and you're going to have to buy something new again. It's inevitable. How else are you going to scratch that itch or fill that void? You have to do it again. It's kind of like TikTok, like you just want to keep scrolling. You're going to want to keep buying, even though you feel like, oh my God, I just need this new item. Like this is going to cure it all. And then I'm not going to want anything because, in your brain, you're like hyper focused on this thing. At the end of the day, when you scratch that itch, it's going to just reemerge because you're not really changing the way that you spend. You're just kind of feeding the bad habit, You're just feeding that parasite within you that wants more and more and more and more. Once that item is purchased, you're going to feel good for the day. And by the next day, you're already going to be on to the next thing that you need in your brain. It's a never-ending cycle, and you're always going to be a slave to it. Who wants to be a slave to a bad spending habit? Not me. This also kind of creates an addiction to fast rewards. Is that the right term? Just kind of like not delaying gratification. That's the right term. Like you're not delaying gratification, which means you're just becoming used to, I want it, I get it. And that can translate into more than just like your shopping habits. Obviously it is a problem with shopping. You want it, you buy it, you want it, you buy it, you want it, you buy it. Next thing you know, you have no dollars. Next thing you know, you're in debt. It can kind of translate past that. It can transcend past the lines of money. You can also become addicted to that with other things, whether it's food, whether it's maybe sex, whatever it is. You kind of just lose the boundaries of, I need to delay this. This is something I really want. And obviously it's fun, but I can't do it at the rate in which, I want to. Even if you're the richest person alive, that is a bad habit. And it has nothing to do with how much money you have or, you could be Jeff Bezos, but if you're spending every day on countless items, it's going to be bad for you. And so this addiction of low effort, easy / high reward, next thing you know, you're addicted to TikTok. If you're not already, next thing you know, you're addicted to sugar. I mean, I think we're all kind of addicted to these things. But you know what I'm saying? Like, even right now, you're probably just like, okay, I can't just have ice cream for breakfast. But if you get so used to, I want it, I get it, with everything else, you might end up eating ice cream for breakfast, next thing you know. And so you don't want to become this type of person. And lastly, and probably the most obvious, because I already kind of spoke about it, it does hinder you from investing into the things that you truly, truly care about. And, I feel like I would rather have that dream vacation or whatever it is than a new fall pillow. I keep referencing the fall pillow because I did have to stop myself from buying new fall pillows. Not even the pillows, I just wanted new covers. And, even yesterday, even today, actually, I was still like, I would really like some new fall covers because I don't have any fall pillows. Okay. I just have, like the same pillows, I guess, like white ones. It's all white. My couch is white. My pillows are white. And I just wanted to change the pillows. And, you're going to hear me reference them because I'm kind of talking to myself in this video. The fall pillow for you could maybe be, I don't know, that new skirt that you've been eyeing. Maybe it's a throw blanket. I don't know. Whatever it is for you. Mine right now is fall pillow covers. And, would I rather have the fall pillow cover or would I rather have that financial security and knowing that I'm like, okay, I'm saving that money instead. I don't need the fall covers. Maybe I can just be satisfied with my throw blanket that I already own or the little pumpkins that I had bought last year. Maybe I could just put those out and relax and be grateful and chill out, because like I said, overconsumption is really just underconsumption of the things that you really, really love. Now, we've talked about the pros, we've talked about the cons. Now let's get into how we can solve this bad habit, okay? Step 1, delay your purchases, okay? This is specifically hard if you're in person and you see something you really like because, when you're in person, it feels like there's an urgency, a sense of urgency. Well, what if it's not there when I come back? What if this is the last one? Or I really need it now because, if I buy right now, XYZ, right? But the reason why delaying your purchase is important and essential is because it kind of allows you the time to really process if you truly want this item. Do you really need it? Do you really want it? Was it just the hyperfixation of the week for you or of the month? It kind of just lets it marinate in your system and you get to really understand if it was just, the current itch or a real desire. Also, delaying that purchase allows you to do some research. Is this the best version of that? Maybe it's a throw blanket. Okay, let's just go with that. You really want a new throw blanket. Maybe you saw one in person that you love, but come to think of it, it was polyester. So then when you're delaying this purchase, you're like, you know what? I do have the real desire for a throw blanket. I've thought about it. I've been, on the topic in my brain for like a month. I think about it every day. I really need this throw blanket. So now you've had a month. You've researched the best throw blanket, one that falls within your budget but is cotton, one that's made really nice, one that really seems like it'll stand the test of time. Maybe you've had time to thrift it. Maybe it's an item that you could actually make instead of purchase. Maybe it's an item that because you had a month and you were complaining about it to your friend or your mom or whoever, they had a spare one. They were like, would you just like this? And you're like, yes, please, thank you. This actually happened to me with one of my picture frames here in my studio. I used to have 3 of them. When I went to put them up, the third one was broken. And then I was complaining to Ashley about it. And she was like, I actually have the third frame. Like I actually have one. It's a little banged up, but I have it. You can have it. Oh my God, perfect. You see, but if I would have just went out and instantly solved my problem, I wouldn't have been able to run into that solution. And this is true in a lot of different ways. So rule number 1, delay your purchase. Rule number 2, stop buying 80 duplicates of the things that you already own. Okay. If you already have a water bottle that serves its purpose, that, is functional, maybe it's not the cutest. Maybe you have banged it a couple times and it has a couple dents. It's a little scratched up, but it still keeps your water cold. Relax. You don't need one that goes for fall. You're fine with the one that you have. You don't need 5 of them. You don't need the newest Rhode lip gloss. either because you actually have 10 of them in your bag. You have 10 other lip glosses that you have yet to go through. You see what I'm saying? Stop buying duplicates. Wait till you run out of items before you buy another one. Can you fill this void with something you already own? See, like I had been itching to get fall decor, as you can probably tell by all the times that I've referenced fall decor in this video. And instead, I was like, you know what? We're going to go into the closet. We're going to open the fall decor tote and we're going to make it work with what we have. Okay. This might not be my perfect style at the moment. This might not be what's in trend. This might not be what I would ideally choose if I were to go into the store today, but we're going to make it work. And you know what? It did scratch my fall decor itch. And if I would have just followed my instinctual instinct of, I need to go to the store and I need to find some stuff for fall, then I would have probably spent at least $100. And for what? I just did it for free with the things that I already owned. So you see, try to see if you can fill that void with something you already have. Maybe you want to redecorate your bedroom. Go into your other rooms, search for things that you already own that maybe you haven't put up, maybe little frames that you bought that you never used. Maybe it's a blanket that you don't really like, but maybe when you put it in the room, it's different and it's cute. So just shop around with the things that you already own instead of buying new things first and see if that kind of helps. Maybe not scratch the full itch, but maybe it just helps alleviate the itch. Next is, how long can this really wait? Even though you really want an item right now, maybe you have your eyes set on, a new hair dryer, let's say. Maybe you have one that already works, but you just really, really want this one because obviously this one's better, it's newer, it has all these different functions and things that it can do that yours can't at the moment. And so in theory, you're like, I really want it. I know I'm going to get it. I've been thinking about it for 2 months. I know I'm going to get it. I want it. And I've been thinking about it and I want it. What's really important now is to decide how long can you go without purchasing it. I had decided months and months and months ago that I needed a really good, like I'm talking about the perfect water filter, at least for where I stay now, which is a rental home. I didn't want to invest into one that I couldn't take with me to wherever I moved to next. And I also didn't want to just buy a cheap one that wasn't really cleaning my water. So I had my eyes set. I figured out which one I wanted, but it was a couple $100s. And so I waited months and months until my birthday. And then I told everyone, I just want basically a group GoFundMe for this water filter. And so I delayed my purchase until basically I could have everyone else buy it for me. Now, could I have bought it myself earlier? Sure. Would it have been beneficial because I did need a water filter? Sure. But then would I have been a couple $100s short? Yeah. And so when you can kind of, assess how long can you wait, maybe your birthday's in 3 months and you can be like, hey, babe, can you buy me this new hair dryer? Or maybe you tell all your friends, hey, instead of all of you guys buying me all these different things, if you are going to buy me anything, I would just ask that maybe you guys just help me buy this sweet, sweet little hair dryer that I really want. How long can you truly wait? That's the question. Another thing is set aside a budget for it. What really is your budget for this item? I said it. You went out, you looked, you saw this throw blanket. You loved it. It was $60. You're like, I don't want to spend $60 for a throw blanket. That's kind of crazy. It's just a throw blanket. So maybe you're like, okay, a reasonable throw blanket price would be like $30. Set a real budget of what you really want to spend on this item and just wait till you can find it for that price, whether that's thrifting, whether maybe something went on sale, maybe you wait till like Black Friday, whatever it is. Give yourself what you really want to spend on that item and just wait till the opportunity pops up. I got a lot of my equipment for my podcast like that, like hunting it on Facebook Marketplace, on different sites and waiting for sales or somebody who was selling it new, but it wasn't from the store, stuff like that. And it does take time. It does take a lot of research and dedication, but you can definitely set aside a budget mentally and wait until you can find it for that price and don't budge on that. Like, don't buy it for more. Another thing is understand your bigger goals. Like we talked about earlier, if you understand what you're saving for, what you're not spending this for, you know what? I'm not going to buy this throw blanket because I really, really, really want to go to the Bahamas with my friends next year, let's say. Whatever it is that you're saving up for, that maybe you're paying off student loan debt, whatever it is that you're saving up for, just keep that as your North Star. You know, you're like, I'm going to stay true to my budget, to my spending. I'm not going to overspend or buy just because I want it, because these are my goals. I need to pay this off, or I really want to go here, or I want to buy myself this bag on my birthday, whatever it is. Have your North Star so you can focus on saving up for what you really want or investing into what you really, really need, rather than just, scratching that little itch that comes every day of you buying something new. Also understand that your life doesn't have to be a Pinterest board 24/7. You don't have to have the house fully perfectly furnished. You don't have to have the TV that's the perfect size for that living room. You don't have to have this walking Pinterest board, especially not overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, okay? And I feel like sometimes we have this false sense of urgency to finish decorating or to go on the most perfect vacation instead of just like traveling. And what I mean is like, you could just travel somewhere. Maybe you backpack, maybe you like camp that's traveling, versus vacationing where you're gonna stay in this grand hotel and all these fun things. And so in theory, you just don't have to have it all right now. You don't have to have the perfect version. You don't have to have the dream car just yet. You don't have to have the newest everything, or everything doesn't have to be at its perfect state instantly. These things take time. And I feel like with social media, we kind of have this false sense of, oh my God, it needs to be perfect now so that I can take a picture of it and post it, or so that when people come over, they're like, this is so nice. But I remember growing up, like my parents' friends, or even my parents, like they would buy a home and for months they would have no like living room furniture because they just spent, like 50 grand buying a house or whatever. Like it was normal. It was like, oh yeah, no, they don't have any furniture yet because they just bought a home. It's going to take a year or two before they can save up for that. Saving up and not having everything perfect all the time is part of life. And don't let the internet kind of distract you from the fact that this is the normal way of life. You don't need to rush into everything and then be thousands of dollars in debt trying to have it all picture perfect. In that same area, it's okay to want something and just not have it yet. Okay. For example, I really, really want this new bag and I've been wanting it for months, and I don't have it yet. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait patiently. It has to be the right time. And there's other things that I'm currently spending my money and there's other things that are more important right now than this bag. Do I want this bag? Do I think about it every day? Do I actually check it every day and see if there's a good deal? Do I look at pictures of it every day? I literally do. But that is kind of the process. It's waiting. It's delaying that gratification. It's, do I really need this right now, or do I just want it right now? That's really important to differentiate. And it's okay to not have that dream item, the new TV, the whatever it is just yet. It's okay to know that you will have it and that you want it, but just not have it right away. And last but not least, is it worth the sacrifice? Even if you waited the couple months, even if you set aside the budget, even if you did all the things above, is it still worth that sacrifice? Whatever it is that you're buying, whether it's a $20 thing or a $2,000 thing, it's still coming at some sort of sacrifice. You could have used that money in theory for something else. And so you have to really understand, are the things that you're buying valuable? Are they going to add to your life? Are they going to enhance your life, not just for that moment and not just for that season or for that trend, but in the long term? Are these items that are going to be with us forever? Are these things that are worth the sacrifice? You wouldn't just climb Mount Everest if at the top it was a dark room. People climb it because, the accomplishment or the view or whatever it is, there is a reward for that sacrifice, and you have to understand if what you're spending your money on is going to be worth your sacrifice. Okay? And so that concludes today's episode. I really wanted to talk about overconsumption because I feel like, it is overconsuming a lot of our day. That was corny, but it is a relevant problem. It's something that we all struggle with in one way or another. Maybe you overconsume on clothes. Maybe it's electronics. Maybe it's gadgets. Maybe it's out eating with your friends. Maybe it's new makeup. Maybe it's whatever it is. Maybe it's a hobby, like an expensive hobby. Maybe you golf and it's really expensive. Whatever it is, we all struggle with it in one way or another. And I feel like I wanted to have this chat and, explore the topic, kind of also inspire myself to save a little bit more, and just kind of give some tips and tricks that I feel like are really at the root of healing this overconsumption disease that we have all been infected with, especially during this day and age where social media, you see everybody's perfect life and all this new makeup and all this cute decor and new bags and new this and vacations and perfectly decorated rooms and new cars, and the list goes on and on. And sometimes it's hard to not want to fit in. So I wanted to make this episode, and I hope that it kind of helps you. I also hope that me sharing some of the things that I'm currently struggling with and trying to hold myself back from purchasing inspires you to also, hold back on some of your own things and know that we're in it together. Okay. You and I, we can hold back. We can save up. We can stop over consuming. Okay. It's time to tone it down. So that's it for today's episode. I love you girls so much, and I'll see you all next Wednesday. Bye.